Hello, Idaho watch enthusiasts. Today, I'm so excited to share with you my tool-tastic watches. So today I wanted to talk about my most purposeful watches, the ones that serve a real purpose, have a tool or function to them, they have reliability. These are things I grab when I'm going to meet a specific situation, or maybe I don't know what situation I'm gonna have to meet. This is what these are for. So these might appeal to the everyday carry guys out there. If you're an EDC guy, you carry flashlights, maybe you care about flashlights, multi-tools, pocket knives. A lot of that stuff really interests me, things that serve an absolute function. I'm gonna talk more about them later. These are something I always have on me. And a watch is no different in my mind. It's something that serves a purpose. So we're gonna talk today about maybe not the prettiest or most expensive watches, but the ones that I need for a task. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll also go into a little breakdown of my everyday carry. So I'll go through some of the things that I keep on hand all the time to help make my life easier. Without any further ado, let's dive into it. All right, so on the subject of tool watches, my wristwatch check for today, I'm wearing the Seiko Alpinist. This is the SARB 017. So the Sarbo 17 was discontinued, I want to say in 2018. I've got mine on a Hadley Roma brown leather strap. Very similar to the strap it comes on, but in my opinion a little softer. The Hadley Roma straps do feature a little bit of water resistance, so you can't beat that. And just go ahead and show you the case back. You know it's an Alpinist when you get that beautiful little mountain inscription on the back of the case there. Of course, the second crown is a bit of a giveaway as well. So that's wristwatch check for today. Let's dive into the dive watch first. So this has already been featured on my channel. This is my Mako 2. So this is the Orient Mako 2. Of course, mine's been modified a little bit. I've got an aftermarket bracelet for the milled clasp and solid links, excuse me. And the full brushed 3-link bracelet is very nice on the wrist. I've also added the single-domed sapphire crystal. This is Orient's F69 movement, so it does have quick set day and date and hand wind, and it's got awesome lume. It's not super bright like Seiko's. It doesn't last as long, doesn't last all night necessarily, but it's good. Not great, but good. I can read it over the course of a couple hours as I'm putting my son down to sleep. I'll have this on my wrist and I can still use the rotating bezel to time exactly how long we've been in there trying to put the little guy down for bed. This is definitely a tool watch. This is the first thing I reach for if I'm going out on the paddleboard, if I'm going out on the boat, if I'm going out near any water, I'll have this because it is so water resistant. 200 meters water resistance has been amazing. Of course, I talked a little bit, if you check my last video, how my watchmaker, the hot horologist in Boise, he actually replaced the gaskets and put better ones in. He has pressure tested it, so it passed with flying colors. I can always count on this when I'm going to encounter some water. So that is my Orient Mako 2, my water watch. I do have a number of dive watches. I love dive watches. I love the utility of them. I've probably got 4 or 5. I'm gonna just show my most tool-tastic watches, stuff that serves a tough purpose and isn't necessarily as pretty. That leads me back to this. This is, in my opinion, the definition of a sports watch. So this is my Tissot PRS 200. Go ahead and check my Sentimental Pieces video where I talk about how my brother has a very similar watch to this. It does have a quartz movement. There's the chronograph running. It features a chronograph rotating dive time bezel. I'll get that up to the mic. Hopefully you get that nice clicky 60 click bezel action. It has lume, it has a date window, it has a tachymeter scale. This watch is amazing, and I love it to do it all. If I need multiple timers, maybe I'm teaching a course that day and I need to time breaks and I need to time my own schedule, and I'm also timing a third thing going on in the background, right? This is the watch I reach for because I can start that chronograph. I can use the bezel to time a second thing. If it's a little hot that day, because I do live in Idaho, I can snap out the diver's extension out of the clasp there. Love that. And I just love this watch. Sapphire crystal, screw down crown, 200 meters water resistance. Means that this watch can get wet, I can get caught out in the rain, I can get caught in the snow, I can get caught off-road, I never know, and it's prepared for that. And that's kind of the theme of today's watches, which leads me perfectly into my next I don't know what's coming watch. That's my Hamilton Khaki King. So the Khaki King is something I reach for when I'm not sure what I'm gonna need. I don't know if there's gonna be rain. I don't know if I'm gonna be off-road. I don't know if I'm gonna have to dress up. Maybe I'm going out for the day, and when I get back into town, I'm gonna have to go out to dinner with my family at a nicer restaurant. This will kind of bridge that gap. Get a picture of that movement there. So that's the Hamilton H10 movement, or Powermatic 80, depending on who you ask. It's a modified ETA 2824 with 80 hours of power reserve. Now, for those who don't know, this was modified from the original design of a military watch with this polished bezel. And the polished bezel kind of makes it dressier. And I have the white dial or the cream dial, so this makes it a little, again, dressier. And it's got some water resistance. It's about 50 meters of water resistance, but that's enough for I don't know what I'm doing, as long as I don't think I'll be swimming. The day and the date is wonderful. Sometimes I do lose track of the day of the week. Life moves fast, and if the watch can help track that for me, all the better. And it has good lume. Again, not great lume, but good lume. And if I'm caught in a dark place, this will help. I can use this to help get me home and just keep track of the time, and you can't put a price on that. I absolutely love this. I love winding this watch, and actually, fun fact, my dad just bought himself the black dial version of this watch, so we actually have this in common now. So, love my Khaki King. Next up is a travel watch. If I'm traveling and I don't really know what I'm gonna do, I don't really know where I'm going, maybe I am moving to another time zone, maybe I am gonna encounter a little water. This is my Citizen Nighthawk BJ7000, best name ever, nice. Eco Drive watch. I've got it on a Fossil brown genuine leather strap. So it's a two-piece leather strap. I absolutely love this watch when it comes to just being rough and tumble. If I'm going to encounter water, it has a screw-down crown, signed crown. It always lines up perfectly. Citizen, actually, I think some of the best bang for buck if you're looking at the right watch. This is a great example of something I think is worth every dollar. I'm going to move that internal bezel, so this has the internal slide rule bezel. I don't use this a lot. I'm not a pilot, but I do kind of mark the red point, and I can use it as a makeshift dive time bezel and time things. I do move the little airplanes around. If you can see that second hand, I'll use that to time a second time zone because I can move those little airplanes independently. I absolutely love that watch. And this strap, it was on a clearance sale at the Fossil store. I'm not a big Fossil watch guy. I can talk about that another time, any gripes I have with the brand, but their straps, awesome. Chef's kiss. Mwah, perfect. So this has been great. The EcoDrive movement, of course, is very, very reliable. It has a 6-month standby time between exposure to sun and another couple days of charge out in the sun, out in direct light, or in really strong studio lights like I've got here. Will fully charge it again. You can get some of that flecto on the dial. Beautiful watch. And this is Great Loom. Very bright watch, very legible all night long. Love the Citizen Nighthawk. Now the last watch I'm gonna reach for today is my gym watch. So this is my Casio G-Shock DW5600. Mine's been modified. This is a Barton Elite strap. So it's their silicone straps. It's got some curvature. It's got dual tone silicone. So red on the bottom, black on the top. It's got awesome brushed matching, color matched hardware. It's got little keepers that have a locking tab in there to hold the end of the strap together. I've also added a bull bar to mine. So just a little bit more protection, protect that screen when I'm running and I knock it against stuff at the gym, or I lift something heavy, or I'm playing racquetball and I slam into a wall. This watch is fine. It's been through all that, it's awesome. Funny story about this watch I've alluded to in some of my shorts. This is my second one. My first one, I was paddleboarding, and if you've ever paddleboarded, part of the joy of paddleboarding is you can stand up, sit down, kneel, lay down across the board, hop off, jump on. You can kind of be free and move about the board. And I fell asleep on a paddleboard, and I took my watch off and I rested it on the board. And that's the last I saw it. I was paddling around, I paddled back to shore, picked up my board, I walked off, and the watch was gone. So I had to buy a second one. Thankfully, they're not too expensive, but they are worth every penny. Absolutely love my DW5600. Any movie buffs out there, this is also what Keanu Reeves was wearing in Speed. Very cool watch. As promised, at the end of this, I would show my EDC Loadout. So any guys out there who do everyday carry, who focus on carrying the most practical things as easily as possible, these are things that I always have on me to make my life a little easier. So I'm gonna start with this. I always keep, I'll take this off. I keep a Night Eyes S-Beaner on me. I keep these everywhere. I tie them to my bag. I hook them to my backpack. I hook them to my baby's bag. I hook them to my baby's stroller. And I can just hook things to these as whatever it calls for. I've hooked my dog's toys to them so I don't have to carry a slobbery Frisbee. Absolutely love that. What I do is I keep this on me and I lock it and I keep it on my belt loop. And I keep my car keys, I keep tools, I keep my locker keys for the gym, I keep everything on these little G-rings. And I'll grab whatever G-rings I need for the day, and I'll just throw them on this, and then I'll go about my day. So this is the first one. This has a little multi-tool, screwdrivers, bottle opener, pry bar, use it all the time, and a flashlight. The first thing I learned when I got into EDC was that the flashlight on your phone is dumb. The flashlight on your phone is about 50 lumens, which is enough for most things, but it's not very bright. And I don't like having dependence on my phone. Anyone asks why I love watches so much, it's because they are a tie to history. They are a tool, they serve a purpose, and it's so much easier for me to check the time on a watch than a phone, right? Well, same thing. I don't use my phone's flashlight because I have this with a twist. Turns on, that's 50 lumens, and then I can go a little bit farther, and that is actually 150 lumens. So this little this is Olight i1R. You can see it's been pretty used, but it's a great little flashlight for 3 times the brightness of my phone's flashlight, and it's USB-C rechargeable. I just keep this on me all the time. Pays off a lot. Next up, this little pouch. I keep this little Viper Aid pouch on me in my bag everywhere I go, just because it pays off all the time. Having a flashlight, a pocket knife, a screwdriver, a pen, a watch spring bar tool, go figure, a little multi-tool, and as promised, a backup battery for my flashlight. So love that. That's my EDC. I keep a watch on me with all this stuff in my bag anywhere I go. pays off, makes my life a lot easier. You'd be surprised how often it all gets used. Reach for that flashlight at least once a day. If you would like to see a deep dive in my EDC kit and my EveryDayCarry loadout or my pocket dump, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to go into all this stuff and show why it's been so useful, how I found it, and how I use it. Let me know. That's all I got for you today. Thank you, everyone. And this is your reminder to wear your watches. Oh, poodles. Oh, Ruby. Who's there? Great.